mind for all athletes, not just football players. Just it was what are we gonna do? Um, people went home. You couldn't train the way you wanted to, or you couldn't train the way we were used to. Like specifically, we didn't have I come home, have any type of training. I didn't have dumbbells. I didn't have resistance bands. Only field of grass I had at the time.
Hey, Mike, I don't know if you're in a bad cell area, but you're getting low. We're getting low bandwidth there. You still there, Mike, or you froze out?
I think I got connected.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, only place I had to work out was in my backyard, and I would just have to come up with different speed drills, agility drills, just to make sure I stay in shape. And then I just ended up going to Miami. So that I have a friend that goes to Boston College.
I think we keep losing you. You keep going in and out. Mike, you still there? Hopefully we'll get him a better connection. We'll get a better connection here, or signal. Mike, you there?
Yeah, it keeps disconnecting.
Keeps going. It keeps disconnecting on you.
Yeah. Let me see. I should be fine in here. I'm just trying to be in a room where you guys can get the best lighting as well. You know what I mean?
Sure. It sounds like we can hear you better now.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It looks better to you. The doesn't look like it's choppy either. So.
Okay. So yeah, just when we got the news that we could practice, and regardless, however it was, whether it was practice with no pads or just we can do player-led walkthrough 7-on-7s, you could just feel the energy from everybody on the team, coaches, players, all staff. It just felt like we're getting back into what we're accustomed to. You know what I mean? And then now that we're back in pads, it's just time to get rolling. October 24th is right around the corner. You can see the adrenaline in guys. You can see the hard work everybody's putting in. And then we just can't wait to finally get out there and showcase what we've been working with.
Just a reminder to the media, if you have any questions, put them in the chat function and I'll call on you. Our first one's from Tom Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike, I was curious. We had Coach Harbaugh on yesterday, as in Jay Harbaugh, talking about his running backs and the need for more explosive plays. And I was curious to know if there's been a lot more emphasis on downfield blocking from the wideouts to turn those short gains into big gains.
Yeah, since last year, one thing Coach Gaddis has always been very big on is style of play. which means if you don't, so if we call it RPO and the ball doesn't come to you and, we hand it off, style of play means once you see the ball has came to you, turn and find a block, get downfield, make a block for somebody else. Or on regular run plays, we have our backside cutoff blocks, which we like to call them our touchdown blocks, because you never know, as Coach Gaddis says, if the ball can bang, bend, or bounce, and the running back can find you. So we always make sure that we're doing our part of the job as being one of the 11 on the field.
Thanks, Mike.
So our next question is from Isaiah.
Hey, Mike, you were the talk of spring last year, and then once it came to the fall, you were involved, but maybe not as involved as a lot of people thought. How challenging was your first year of playing college football, and how much more acclimated do you feel now?
The first year, coming in as a freshman, you start off the same way you went into high school. I feel like, you ask yourself, where do I fit in amongst this group of older men? What is going to be my role on this team? And it does take time. It takes more time for some people more than it does for others to really understand like what you're going into. And I think that's kind of where I found myself thinking come fall camp last year. I had a good spring ball. And then once camp started, things started picking up. I got into a pace that I wasn't really used to yet. And then that's when I was questioning, like, what can I do to help this team get better? Just whether that's being around guys, being an energy booster, making plays on the field, anything that I can do to help make the team better is where I found myself. And then, whenever my number was called, I just always made sure that I was ready to take advantage of the opportunity. And year two is you get your feet wet. Year one, you get a taste of the game. Year two is when you get your chance to really show who you are. You know what I mean? And that's just something I can't wait to do. They put our depth charts out. I don't like, it's cool to see where you are, but until the first snap of game one, nothing's really set in stone. So I'm just going to make sure I don't get complacent and just keep working the way I've been working to, have that spot on this team.
Thanks, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is from Hunter Davidson.
Hey, what's up, Mike? OC Josh Gaddis loves to talk about the speed and space offense, and you've shown that you're one of the faster guys on the team. What I want to know is, goal line to goal line, who is beating you in a race? Who's the fastest guy in the speed and space offense?
Are we talking about offense or the team in general?
Offense first.
Honestly, if you line up our receiver core, you go me, Ronnie, Giles, AJ, Roman, CJ, Shane Lee, McCurry, Jake Daw, Rolap, Swiv, Matt Harrison, Torrey. The top five for sure is me, Roman, AJ, Giles, Ronnie. I'll put Ronnie in there. I'll put Ronnie in there. Definitely put Ronnie in there. But I think Roman will come out with it. Roman. That guy flies for sure.
All right.
And he flies.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is from Aaron McMahon.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. You said that you were talking about going from year one to year two, and year two is kind of when you get to show who you are. Who are you, and what do you think you bring to this offense?
I think the type of guy I am, I'm just very positive, and I like to bring the best out of those around me, whether that's in the weight room, on the field, off the field. I just like to see the best in everybody that's around me. I like to be like an energizer bunny, like I mentioned before. You know, just bringing the competitive nature out of people, even on the defensive side. You know, I have some of our corners come and ask me like, what do I see in their game that they can work on? Likewise, I'll ask them, what can I do to beat press coverage, you know, or how do I determine an off man or a bail corner, stuff like that. I just really I like to, you know, just like I said, I just really enjoy bringing the best out of those around me.
If I could follow up too, where do you think you need to make the biggest leap from last year to this year?
In terms of my play style,
Yeah.
definitely I'd say catching the ball. For sure, that's something I've been working on and focusing on. You know, Coach Gaddis one Saturday gave everybody focus points for practice, and you know that's the first thing he mentioned is just making sure I catch everything off the tips, because you know I continue working on details, technique, but at the end of the day, once the ball is in the air, you have to make a play. So that's something I'm really continuing to focus on.
Just a reminder, if you have a question, throw it in the chat function. Got a couple more minutes with Mike before he heads to class. Next question is from Angelique.
Mike, Josh Gaddis a few weeks ago was talking about how hard it is to track a Joe Milton ball, and he says he tells the receivers don't stop running. How hard is it to track if he's throwing it 70 yards? I think was Josh's example. How hard is that?
So for example, yesterday he threw me a post route, and the first thing I told myself was, Joe's in the game. No matter what, just keep running because the ball isn't landing short. And then as I'm tracking the ball, I'm like, this has to be the highest ball I've ever seen thrown in a while. Like the ball was in the air hanging, and I'm just asking myself, when is this ball going to drop? Where is it going to drop? And, you know, I just head down, just kept running. It's definitely tough to track the ball when it's that high and you just don't know where it's going to land and when it's going to land. Coach Gaddis just tells us, make sure we keep running and don't expect it to fall anytime soon when 5 is in the game.
Just a reminder, if you got any questions, toss them in the chat function. I know I just saw Zach Shaw pop up. So Zach.
Hey, Mike, sorry if I missed the beginning if someone's asked about it, but AJ Henning and Roman Wilson, they come to campus. They seem like really fast players. I guess, what have you seen from them and what kind of impact do you expect this season?
Them coming in as freshmen, I think it really helps us in the receiver room in terms of depth. You know, now it's just added 2 more fast guys to our receiver core. You know, 2 guys that will go out there and make plays. They're unselfish players as well. You know, that's the type of people we need in that room. You know, guys that'll do their part as well as, you know, they'll put it out there for those around them.
If I can trouble you, have you guys figured out who the fastest receiver is yet? Have you guys done any races this fall?
We haven't raced, unfortunately, but I had mentioned, I think the top 5 would be me, Roman, AJ, Ronnie, and Giles.
Thank you.
Next question is from Angelique.
Mike, the other night on the coach's show, Don Brown mentioned that Gemon Green has really come on as one of the top corners. How has his play improved? As you've watched in practice?
I feel like he's just become way more confident in himself. You know what I mean? Just lining up with confidence. You know, he's talking with confidence, walking with confidence, and I just feel like he feels good in his own body. And just like I said, just year 1 to year 2, even though he is a junior, but like his second year of actual play is just now it's his time to showcase what he's been working.
Our next question is from Isaiah.
Mike, we talk about how fast all of you guys are. when you get all of you on the field, how much more of an advantage do you feel, especially considering you add those 2 freshmen who are fast? How much more of an advantage do you feel like it gives you offensively when you go up against defenses?
I just think it creates a better rotation because now you can run a deep route. You can go from having 2 guys run the deep route and then sub another one of us in and then just give us the ball in space. And we'll be going up against a DB that was covering 2 different guys for 2 deep routes. And now he's tired and we just have fresh legs, just keep cycling. You know what I mean? So I think that really helps us out a lot.
We got time for just a couple more. We'll start with Hunter.
Yeah, you guys, you lost a lot of size and experience out of the wide receiver room last season. Who do you anticipate being those big, deep threats for you guys this season after losing Nico and DPJ?
Honestly, it could be any of us because I think we're doing a great job right now learning how to create separation routes. So yeah, and that separation comes from small details, small technique that Coach Gaddis works on, like leaning a guy at the top of your route, creating shoulder separation, nudging off a guy. But one term he really uses is called punching the peck. It's a small detail. Sometimes it's very small that it could go unnoticed, but if you know what you're doing and you're doing it the right way, it'll really help. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be great to have the size back, but when you have a lot of people that are fundamentally sound and, work on their technique details, it's just, it equals out.
Thank you.
Yep.
We have time for probably about one more question from Mike, if anyone's got it before he gets off to his class. Any last questions for Mike? Isaiah?
Mike, have you heard it all from Nico, and have you lobbied him to come back at all?
I had texted him once. I asked him if the rule of opting back in changes anything for him. He was still unsure, but regardless, whatever he does, I wish him well. Nico's a real good guy. If he does decide to stick to working out for the NFL, then I wish him the best. If he comes back, I'll be right there with him. Find out this year.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Mike. Really appreciate you participating. I know you're going to go get an A on that test you got here this afternoon. So thank you
For
very
sure.
much.
Thank you.
We're going to take probably about a 10-minute break until Kwity gets here. So just wanted to let everyone know we'll probably about 10 minutes until Kwity finishes with his class. We'll get started. So just a reminder for the media, if you have any questions, put it in the chat function and I'll call on you. So we'll just get started. Kwity, what's it like to be back in pads, practicing, preparing for a game that's a little over 2 weeks away?
Well, it feels good. I think the last time we put on pads before recently was last January. So it just feels good to be able to come out here and play actual football with some contact.
Our first question is from Rainer.
Hey, Kwity. Yeah, can you talk about coming in with the 2017 class and your thoughts on what it was like coming in with that group and all these years later? I mean, how much things have changed since then?
Coming in, I guess we were ranked pretty high for a class, and I think they said we were supposed to be the best class or whatever. But over the years, people, they transfer for their own reasons, or they, just things don't work out the way you think it would work out. But I think I'm so satisfied with how our class turned out, and yeah.
Yeah, as a follow-up, can you talk about just how much you came in as maybe one of the more unheralded players from that group, and now all these years later, you've kind of emerged as perhaps one of the best.
Yeah, no, I still remember when I decommitted from Boston College and when I committed to here, a lot of people were saying, "Oh no, like don't do that. You're not gonna play. You're making a big mistake. Like don't do it." And then all these years later, all it took was hard work and it's hard work and consistency, and I am where I am.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Hunter Davidson.
Hey, what's up, Kwity? A lot of hype around you and Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of people calling you guys perhaps the best defensive end duo in the nation. How do you guys balance those expectations every day in practice?
We just try not to feed into the hype. Obviously we have great coaches here that don't even like the hype. they'll call you out if you're being soft in any way, or like if you're not practicing the way you're supposed to. And for me, like personally, like friends from back home, they'll send me like articles of like, "Hey, Kwity, look what they're saying about you," and stuff like that. Like personally, like I don't like it just because when people see all the hype and when people see all like other people talking good about them, they get complacent and they don't they wouldn't work as hard as they used to. I just like to stay humble and continue doing what I have to do.
Thank you.
The next question is from Tom Crawford.
Hi, Kwity. Thanks for coming on. When we had Coach Brown on last week, he couldn't say enough about you and Aiden, two best defensive ends in the country. But when you look at film from last year, when you look at your game and do your self-scouting on your particular skill set, what would you like to improve the most on in 2020?
2020, I think just my my pass rush moves, just because I feel like I didn't show enough of it last year. And that's just because I feel like I didn't focus on it a lot last year. But this offseason, I really focused on my go-to move and my counter, and then just really working on my pass rush stuff. Just because like last year, I would say I was really more of like a run defender, but now this year I'm trying to work the pass rush stuff into there as well.
Thanks, Kwity.
Our next question is from Bob Wanowski.
Hey there, Kwity. Just wondering, because obviously guys like you and Aiden have gotten a lot of hype, so to speak. But overall, as a team, Michigan's a little bit under the radar, I think, as far as other teams in the Big Ten and in the country. I don't know if you noticed that part of it, and also what will be the strength of this Michigan defense. And do you think you are a little bit under the radar right now?
Yeah, for sure. I think we are under the radar. They have a lot of people beating us, going into the year, they usually say, "Oh, Michigan's just a decent team," but this year we're really trying to be different. This year we're really working hard, and this year I feel like this team is different from past years, and like you can just see it in like the way we practice and how we come out and work every single day. So yeah, we're just gonna continue to work hard.
And a quick follow-up, is any of that a function of having a little bit of a rough season last year, 4 losses, and how it ended in the bowl game too? Is that a function of what you guys are doing right now?
Yeah, no, I mean, like everybody on this team, since for like the past 4 years right now, like we don't have any rings. Even our 5th years, we don't have any rings. Bowl games, like we don't have nothing. So we're all hungry. This is my last go around, and yeah, I'm trying to get a ring this year.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Hunter.
Yeah, the AP poll has you guys ranked 23 coming into the season. How do you and the guys on the team feel about this ranking? Are you paying any attention at all to the polls? Are you using it as fuel? What's the mindset about that?
We really don't care, honestly. Like there hasn't been any talk about it. But like we just know that we just have to go out there and win our games, and obviously those rankings will change. So yeah, that's our only motivation, just going out there and winning.
Thank you.
Next question is from Austin.
Hey, Kwity, you mentioned last year you were kind of focused on your responsibilities as a run defender. Was that partly because you had Uche, who was such a dynamic pass rusher, and do you feel like more of that pass rush responsibility now will be on you and Aiden this year?
Yeah, for sure. We had Uche, great pass rusher, and this year I feel like since we lost that great pass rusher, someone's gonna have to step up and be that premier pass rusher. So it's gonna be either me and Aiden. So we just been working hard on like just making sure that we're working our new moves and making sure that we'll be ready for end game situations when we have to go and get those sacks.
Our next question is from Angelique.
Kwity, I was just curious, how did you handle all the uncertainty and weighing, your options, and were you getting a lot of pressure from agents and outside sources during this whole, whether you're going to play or not play?
Yeah, I've gotten advice from a million people, whether it's you should leave, or declare now and then we could get the process rolling and blah 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 blah. For me, I tell people this all the time. Like, I came back for a reason. I didn't come back just to say, "Oh, I was coming back." I came back to play a season. So that was like the only thing that was going through my head. That's why I stayed so long, just because with hopes of playing this season. And when people kept, and that just shows you, I don't know, kind of like their goals. Because if someone knows you came back for a season and they're trying to advise you just to leave, or agents saying, "Oh, just to leave," then it's kind of like, what's your real interest here? Are you looking for my best interest or yours? I came back, I wanted to graduate, I wanted to play a season, and that's exactly what I did. So, I'm not really the type of person to take advice from other people. As my mom would say, I'm real stubborn, and once I have my heart set on something, I like to see it through. And came here for 4 years, and yeah, I think I'm happy with that.
Was there a cutoff for you though, Kwity? Was there a point where you're like, okay, if this isn't happening, I've got to go? Were you going to stay for spring, for instance?
I would have to go home and talk to my mom, obviously, because that would have been a whole situation with the schedule, with like the pre-draft process and Senior Bowls and all that stuff. So that would obviously be a conversation I would have to have later. But if there was a late season within the fall or whatever, I was gonna play, no matter what.
Our next question is from Isaiah.
Hey, Kwity, we've heard a lot from Don Brown, Aiden, some of those guys about that second rotation on the defensive line, and guys who have been impressing. Who, in your mind, who's been those guys that are ready to come in and be that next line of depth?
I think the guys that we've been seeing a lot in practice are Taylor Upshaw. We've been seeing a lot of Luigi and a lot of Julius Welshoff. So I feel like those three guys are kind of like working their way into the rotation a lot more. And G's been great, he's been great in the past, but I feel like this year's G is real hungry, and I feel like he has a lot to prove this year. So something we liked last year with the rotation, but I feel like this year it'll be different.
With Luigi, how did you see any kind of frustration there before, with him not being able to play for 2 years and starting to kind of work his way in, especially considering, you kind of came up with him?
Yeah. So me and Luigi are best friends. So I'm always with him, and at times you could just see like he was kind of frustrated and kind of down. And but I feel like if there's a harder working person than me, I would say it's Luigi. He made sure he took care of himself during his injury process. He made sure he took the treatment seriously, and made sure he got back to where he needs to be. And now it's just getting the reps and getting the experience now. But Luigi will be on his way up.
Next question is from Bob Wanowski.
Hey, Kwity, just wondering, as you guys have practiced and gotten ready to play, if you've been watching the other games, the SEC games on Saturdays, watching with, I don't know, jealousy or anything, and makes you more eager to get out there, and how long do you think it'll take for you to be to say game speed when you start?
I think the game I got eager to play was after I watched the Texas versus Texas State game. Texas versus Texas Tech game with I think it was like 60 something to 50 something or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was an exciting game. But then like after that game, I'm just like, man, like I wish I was playing on Saturdays right now. But our time will be coming soon in about 2 weeks or so. So we'll just be prepared for then.
And just a quick follow, what do you think will be the strength of this defense?
The strength of this defense, man, I'm thinking the D line. But honestly, I think we're kind of the most experienced. I would say. I feel like we have the oldest guys on our defense, and yeah.
Got time for a couple more questions. If you guys have it, throw it into the chat function. I'll call on you. Angelique.
Kwity, who have you seen going up against on the offensive line who's really impressed you? And where do you think this offensive line is right now with four sort of new starters?
Well, Jalen obviously is a great offensive lineman, returning starter. And someone who has impressed me, I would say, is Hayes. You know, we talked about him in the past and just how he's been taking that leadership role on the offensive line and how he's been really determined to get better and improve, taking more reps in one-on-ones and just trying to do his best in like everything he does, whether it's in the weight room, on the field, before practice stuff, after practice stuff, just trying to be just trying to work his craft more and more.
Our next question is from Tom Crawford.
Yeah, Kwity, I wanted to, from a defensive end perspective and RPO and the quick release, shallow crossers, from your defensive ends standpoint, how can you muck that up more so that doesn't make the Michigan defense vulnerable as it has in the past against certain teams?
Just trying to get our hands up, just because some teams for our defense, they try and get the ball out fast. And sometimes, no matter how fast you can beat your guy off the edge, the ball's going to come up before you even have the chance to hit the quarterback. So for those shallow routes, for the quick routes, the D-line has to do a great job of trying to get our hands up. Aiden's done a great job of blocking some passes last year. So we just all have to be on that this year.
Thanks, Kwity.
Next question is from Jason Lewis.
Hey, Kwity, when you look at the games that have happened so far around the country, I mean, offenses have been dominating, putting up ridiculous numbers. How important is it, and how much are you guys stressing, that you as a defense needs to come out quick when you just look at those trends throughout the nation?
Yeah, no. Before practice every day, Coach Harbaugh would read us like some stats and stuff like that, and like ways that we can win. And one of the stats that stuck with me was kind of like the teams that score first in the game have a higher percentage of winning that game. So if the defense is up first and if we stop them on their first drive, then that's kind of like a good indication that like we have kind of like the upper hand in a way. So our defense just got to be on our P's and Q's every time we go out there, make sure we're doing our job and make sure that we're executing our task.
Thanks, Kwity.
We have one last question here from Aaron McMahon.
Hey, Kwity, thanks again for doing this. You've been at Michigan a while now. You played a lot of games, and you mentioned improving your pass rush, but I'm wondering from an individual standpoint, what you think there's left to accomplish for you before you make the leap to the NFL?
Just kind of like how I talked about before, like I have no rings. I came to the university to be a champion, and I'm yet to be a champion. I'm trying to accomplish that one thing, 'cause I feel like I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I feel like this team is I feel like this is a great organization. I feel like we've done a lot of great things. We just got to finish at the end of the season now. And I feel like this year is the year to do it, just because it's my last year. So I'm giving it all I got. This team's giving it all we got. And yeah, just trying to get that ring.
All right. Well, thank you, Kwity, for participating. Thanks for all the media today. We will see everyone later. And I'll talk to everyone. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Kwity.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kwity.
Yeah, thank you.